I told them the tablets weren't being absorbed, so they changed my medication and gave me another tablet. At the time, I genuinely thought this meant progress. Looking back now, this was the moment I realised how stuck I really was. After the first medication failed, I went back to the consultant to change medications. I explained again that my body wasn't digesting the tablets I'd been given. I thought I was being listened to, but looking back, I might as well have been talking gibberish, because the next medication they prescribed me was somehow another tablet. There's a phrase about doing the same thing and expecting different results. That phrase became my life. Even though it made no sense to me, I still had to try it. With chronic illness, you don't get to skip steps. You're given a medication, a time frame, and told to see what happens. This time though, I wasn't as naive. I decided to look up the medication I'd been given. It was called azathioprine. What I found surprised me. This medication is primarily used for people who have had organ transplants. Its main purpose is to suppress the immune system so the body doesn't reject a new organ. That's why it can be used for autoimmune diseases like Crohn's disease. But there's a catch. The tablet has to be absorbed, and then it has to be metabolized. By this point, I already knew what my body didn't do. Same story, different tablet, undigested again. Another waste of time, another trip back to the consultant. This was the point where hope stopped feeling safe. I started to wonder whether anything would actually change, or if I was just going to be handed tablets forever. Eventually, after a long conversation, the consultant decided to do something different. But this is something people don't often realise. You don't walk into a doctor's office with one medication and walk out the same day with another. Every change has to be approved. Funding has to be agreed. Sometimes more tests are required just to prove that you're unwell enough to deserve the next option. Weeks pass. You wait. You don't know if you'll be approved. And while you're waiting, you're still sick. That waiting creates its own kind of anxiety. Eventually, I was approved for a medication called methotrexate. This time, it wasn't a tablet. It was an injection once a week, administered at the hospital. It required weekly blood monitoring because the side effects could be serious. But honestly, I was relieved. For the first time, it felt like we were trying something that might actually work. What people don't realise is how long this process actually took. By the time I started injections, I was 18. I had already dropped out of college because of my health. Years of my teenage life were gone. There was no getting that time back, only moving forward. I was lucky in some ways. I didn't experience severe side effects at first, mostly just fatigue, but the medication never truly helped either. I took methotrexate for about 3 years. My condition didn't improve. It didn't dramatically worsen either. I just existed. Eventually, my body stopped responding. I became immune to it, and my symptoms began to creep back in. That triggered another medication change, one with even higher risks. I'll talk about that medication in another video. But this was the moment I truly understood something. This disease isn't about fixing anything. It's about staying afloat. I've never found remission, just only ways to survive the next wave. This is just one part of the story. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening.